Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses. First Tellurium Corp., the future of mining. And Hardy Rods and Reels.
Good day, folks. Well, today if I was going to bring you a dry fly, and this would be a fly if I was allowed one dry fly to fish the rest of my days, this would be it'd be a Parachute Adams. Tricked it out a little bit with some new materials. We'll go over those materials as we tie the fly. I'll have the materials recipe for you right at the end of the video too. So here's a great little pattern. Like I say, it represents so many insects. We're going to tie it with a Tiemco 100 dry fly hook, standard size, number 14. I'm going to be using some Semperfli Spyder thread. This is 18/0, very nice, strong thread. The body, I'm going to be using some Semperfli Kapok dubbing. This is actually made out of a product they used to use in life jackets years ago. The tailing material is going to be a Coq saddle. This very nice, well-marked Hackle for tailing materials. The Hackle in the front for the parachute here is going to be just a Grizzly neck. You can use Cree is what they actually call for. I do use that. I'm just showing you the Grizzly. It's a lot more available for the standard. A lot of tires have just that. That'll work fine for you. And also another little secret sauce there I like for this one. I'm going to add some Perdigon body. It's an iridescent copper. I'm going to put that as the ribbing. You see how that glitters underneath? It's a great fly, and this really takes a nice old standard pattern, and we can trick it out with some of these new materials and really get some new improved flies out there by not changing some of the good old standbys. You can just trick them out a little bit. Remember, these flies we didn't have all these materials ready when those flies were designed, and not taking anything away from a Parachute Adams. They're just, I'm going to put a little extra tailing material on here. It's I'm going to put that on the length of the shank. Come up here to a third to the back. I'll come in. I'm going to be using some Rainey's parachute posts. These are nice little parachute posts. You get them different sizes, colors, and they work very easy. Nice and handy to use. You can tie these in a lot smaller sizes. I'm just doing a 14 for demo. That's a good standard size too. I'd use a 14 a lot. Okay, we'll just go right there. I'm going to leave that post just a little bit long for now. I'll trim it a little bit later. Now we'll come in here with our Perdigon flash. Iridescent copper. This is really nice. Some of these really small. That is not going to add any weight. Just going to add a little bit of glint. And that copper, that iridescent copper, is a tremendous color. I like it a lot. Throw a half hitch in here. Now you'll want to maybe put a little wax on if you're using that thin a thread or unwaxed thread. I'm going to use my rotary vise, but spin this on. But you want to make sure you fluff this. I mean, you don't want any of these chunks in there. Fluff that out. Take a little bit of time. Make sure it's not too clumpy. Clumpy, is that a word? And I'm just going to put this on sparingly. But as you see this dubbing coming on, you'll see the fibers coming off. That makes it float even more. That's what you're looking for. If you get those hairs sticking out like that, it's what I like to see on any of those dry flies with that Kapok dubbing. Andy was saying that's so critical, and I agree. So we're going to just taper a body here from the back. Make sure we don't tie our rib down. Now the way I'm going to do this is a little different than a lot of guys do the parachutes. I'm going to get all my thorax. I'm going to get all my body done in one swoop. I just got a little bit left on there, so I'll come forward with my iridescent copper rib. That looks really cool. Nice segmentation too. I can tie that off right there. I'll bring in one of my neck hackles. We tie it dull side down. It gives a little more floating, and you can use the super saddles for these hackles on your dry flies. I'm just showing you the neck hackle, and that's what was originally called for in all of these patterns. Now the neck hackle is stiffer and it floats a lot better. You don't have to use quite as much. Now instead of going in other steps, I'm just going to throw a little Solarez on my thread, on my parachute post. Right on there, quite a bit of it actually. Underneath there, nobody's going to see what we're doing. This is a little cheater way of doing things, and I'll tell you, it really works good. And we can wrap our body. You want to go up a little bit and down. There we go. Bring our torch. Just hit that with your torch, your UV light, and boom, you got it done. It's about as simple as you can make a parachute fly, and it will last a long time. And nice little pliers here with small, or scissors I should say, with small tips so I don't cut anything. And that is just a great little dry fly. They don't come much better than that. I can trim my post down a little bit if I like. There it goes. I like that. You can get that in chartreuse and all different colors too, the parachute posts. The Coq de Leon tails, it's got all the right stuff. So I really appreciate you watching again today, folks, and I hope you get some of these dry flies tied. And that's the epitome of fly fishing for sure. It's catching fish on top, and this will be a great producer for you. So I'd like to thank you again for watching, and catch you again real soon.